So my name is Dr. Hubert Sini. I scored 800 on the Gmat and I created the MBA Center. I prepared the Gmat when I had to go to the US to do a master and then a PhD. Cesare was supposed to be with us today, so I will give you his contact information, his email, so that you can write to him. The idea of today was to share his experience, was to explain how the admission process works using his experience. So Cesare studied at Loyola University in Chicago, worked as an analyst for McKinsey for like 6 months, and then studied his MBA, his master's at INSEAD. So basically, I will tell you how the admission process works. I will tell you about our packages if you need more info. Okay. The person with your contact is Maria, who is following the Italian students. Okay. So you have her contact information here. And I'm sure that if you're here today, it's because Maria invited you. Alors, basically, let's try to make it interactive. Okay. Because I prefer to have interactive webinars. And if you don't mind, I'd like to interact with you today, maybe. So tell me, so there's Chiara who is here. Chiara? There's a Chiara. I don't know, because many Italian students, they like to interact. Chiara, you have, what do you expect from today's seminar? Francesco? He's not here. So Emma? Oh, yes, there's Emma, by the way. There's Emma from ESSEC. Emma?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah.
They're the ones they're on strike. So basically, so Emma, what do you expect? What do you expect from today's seminar? Okay, we're going to see because Cesare. I will give you his contact information. By the way, Xenia, you can put Cesare email maybe in the messenger. Okay. So Emma, what do you expect from today's seminar?
Well, I'm a first-year student at the BBA of ESSEC, so I'm not really concerned about the MBA admission yet, but I would like to know.
It's for masters. Your first year or your last year?
No, I'm a first year.
Oh, so you're pretty young.
I'm young.
So yes, you're 18 years old. Yeah, when we talked yesterday, I didn't know that you were too young.
Yeah.
So of course, but basically one of the questions would be to say, if I'm young, what do I do to prepare my MIM? So because there are things that you can prepare. So imagine that some of you will not apply before 2023 or 2024. Okay. They may say it's a bit too early, because I know that I will graduate in 24. Okay. So it's not really of my concern. So yes, it's of your concern because there are ways that you can prepare. By the way, we have a program, at MD Center that we call Plan Ahead. And in Plan Ahead, we help you, for instance, get prepared, optimize your profile and then your application before you start. So what we do is that, so basically I would say that you're going to send your application in October 2023. Okay. You're going to start prepare for it in January 2023. So from January to June, you prepare for the Gmat and the TOEFL. Okay. And during the summer 2023 for your application. So basically, it means that you start roughly the process in 18 months. Okay. Which is okay, not today, but it's going to come up soon, 18 months, you see. So what can you do meanwhile to improve your profile? So first of all, get good grades, okay? Because the grades cannot be changed, okay? So get good grades. Second of all, in your schools, they offer exchange programs, so get big names. I know that, for instance, at ESSEC, you have an exchange program with Warwick Business School. If you go to the UK, go there. I know that ESSEC has a campus, in Singapore. So of course, stay in Singapore. So basically, I would say get big names, exchange program, be as international as possible. Okay. How can you be as international as possible? So go to the exchange program and try to complete your internships abroad. Okay. And finally, develop your profile. By the way, try to be involved in community services, volunteering, and do things. Okay, achieve things. Okay, the one that you said I was a president of a club. I launched a tournament. Be an active player. So basically, I would say that your masters start now. There are already many things that you can do to improve them now. So I need to say, be more involved in my school, launch initiatives, have an internship abroad, etc. Try to get the best possible exchange program. So that's all that is something that you can do to improve. Okay, because what business school will consider, they will consider your grades from the age of 18 to the age of 20, 21. Okay, and everything that you have done. So they will consider your grades, your Gmat, your exchange program, your studies abroad, your achievements, your volunteering activities. So that's something that they will start to consider as soon as now. So there's Gabriel Santamaria. So Gabriel, you have any question that you want to ask us? So Emma, you have another question maybe? Or there's Lang Wang. You have questions, Lang Wang? No, but it's not easy when nobody talks and the guest is not here. So so Emma, you have other questions that you want to ask? Did I answer your questions, Emma? You have others?
It's okay for the moment. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, basically, I would say that first of all, I would like to tell you, it would be interesting to know more about you. So first of all, I would like to ask you to tell you how the admission process works. So as you know, the admission process is going to work before you start. Okay. So imagine that, for instance, if you want to start in 2022, because for 2021 it's too late. Okay. If you want to start your master in 2022, so it means that you have to send your application on round 1, if possible. So which is October 2021. Okay. So it means that you have May, June, July to prepare the Gmat and the TOEFL, and up to, let's say, mid-August, and from mid-August to late September, 1 month and a half to write your applications. Okay, so basically, even for someone who would like to start in 2022, you have to hurry up. Okay, why is it time consuming? Because you have a big part in this admission process, which is the Gmat. And the Gmat requires a lot of work, and you never know how long it will take you. Okay, so what we know is that we know from schools like let's say the top school that we have in Europe. So let's say HEC, ESSEC, St. Gallen, LBS, and INSEAD. Next year, they will take students who are probably above 700. Okay, because I can see already that students rejected on the last rounds at LBS with a 650, 660. So you have more people applying for this masters, and you can expect that is going to scores are going to increase. So you need a very good score. Okay, how much work do you need to put on the Gmat? I would say between 250 to 400 hours of work. So it's quite a lot. Okay. So we don't know how long it's going to take. So the sooner you start, the better. Okay. The best of the best students that I have need about 2 months to do well. And most of the students need more like 6 months. Okay. So already 6 months, it means that it's very unlikely that you can apply in October. But let's imagine that you decide to focus your weekend, your summer vacations on the Gmat. That's still workable. So the big part of the preparation, okay, is going to be the Gmat. So I would say that you have to plan, for instance, from May to, let's say, mid-August to be ready on the Gmat and the TOEFL, provided that you're full-time on it once you're on vacation. The second part of the application is an application, okay? So basically in an application, you have a CV, you have CVs, essays, letters of reference, transcript, etc. That can be time consuming as well because you have long essays. For information, when you apply to London Business School, you have about 10 mini essays and 2 long essays. Okay, it's quite time consuming. So when I say that you need 1 month and a half, it's a minimum. I am meeting with students who have started their application 2 months ago, and we will probably need until mid-May to be done. Okay, and then you have an interview. You see that, by the way, now schools have decided to add another type of interview, which is called a Kira test. And the Kira test is a test that you have online, and it is followed by the motivation interview. So LBS, now INSEAD and Institut d'Empresa use this test. Okay, So basically, you have, it's quite a long process. Now imagine that some of you may be students at the Bocconi, so they already took a test, so they know what it is, because to get Bocconi as a high school student, you need to pass a test. So some of you probably know what it is to prepare a test and to get a good score. And I imagine that if you got accepted to Bocconi, you have successfully taken this test. And I guess that you took more than 2 months to get it. By the way, I've noticed that the Bocconi students, they do pretty well on tests because they've already passed the test. Same thing as for ESSEC students, because to get ESSEC, you need to pass a test. So they will say, I never had the Bocconi students with a score less than 650, with a score between 650 and 680. Okay, which is enough, but as I told you now, probably not enough to get the top 3, top 4 European schools, because you have fierce competition. So first of all, that's basically it. You have question on the admission process? It's a key thing, and you see it requires times and dedication. Okay. For instance, this morning I was giving a class from students that were in Europe, and half of them do not come. Probably they say yes for recording, so they get the recording of the class. Of course, we have also videos, we have an e-learning platform, but I'm thinking that they don't really realize how much work it represents. Okay. Maybe, I don't know, there's Marco. You have questions on the admission process? Can you tell us more about yourself, when you intend to apply, Marco? Hello? You don't hear me?
Yes,
yeah.
I hear you.
Marco, where are you a student at Luis, Cattolica, Bocconi? Where are you studying now, Marco?
No, I have already passed the study. I am already working since 4 years. I've studied at Bocconi and RSM in the Netherlands.
Okay, for an exchange program. So you had the exchange program with RSM, the Erasmus, probably, or yeah?
No, it's a proper master.
Okay.
Like just proper exchange. And I was thinking about an MBA. I'm working in strategic consultancy. And I'm studying for Gmat.
For which one? For McKinsey? Which consulting?
No, this is a strategic boutique, Econ Consulting. It's a French one.
Okay.
Just specialized.
Altran, yes, yeah. I had a student who got accepted 2 years, like 2-3 years ago, and he was an Altran. He was working for Altran, an Italian student. He went to École Normale Supérieure from Pisa. And he got a Yale, and he was a scientific advisor for Altran. I know. So basically, you have a different story, so you're for a different reason. So you want to do an MBA. So for the MBA, it's the same thing. It's the same admission process. By the way, the admission process that they use on the MIM was taken from the MIA, the MBA program. And what do you want to apply, Marco? You want to apply more like in Europe, like LBS, INSEAD, or you want to study in the US? What are your goals now?
Actually, the dream is INSEAD. Okay. Because of it has both a network a very strong network in Europe, but also give the possibility to study and maybe change and go abroad, especially in Singapore, for example. That's my top 1 priority, and that's what I am aiming for.
Okay, so you aim INSEAD, and of course, as a consultant, it makes a lot of sense. Of course, I would suggest take INSEAD and LBS, because from experience, I see that this year, INSEAD is very tough on the Gmat. Okay, so I got students rejected to INSEAD with a 700. Okay, and unfortunately, they had applied to LBS and been accepted to LBS. It seems that with the 670, 680, you get LBS. INSEAD is becoming a bit more demanding. But I guess that if you work as a consultant, yes, you studied at the Bocconi before, but you're good at tests because you pass the test to get Bocconi, and the Gmat should not be too much of an issue. Are you preparing on your own, or do you prepare, Marco, the Gmat now?
I am preparing since 2 months and a half with a friend of mine.
Yeah, okay.
She's also studying for the Gmat and for an MBA.
Okay.
And she's the one who gave me the contact of the MBA center.
Okay. And then it's and what is your friend? What is the name of your friend? Hello? I know her?
Sorry?
Do I know your friend? Yes?
Maybe. Laura Cesani.
Laura? Yeah, maybe. I will. If you want, we'll have a meeting later on. But, so basically, yes, basically INSEAD is a good thing. And as you know now, INSEAD is an MIM as well. So now I have students applying both So we apply either to the MBA or to the master's. So people like do MBA and have younger ones. So for INSEAD, by the way, so we started to rank schools. So the MIM is already number 2. As you know, INSEAD was ranked number 1 in the last Financial Times ranking, so that they know. You see, by the way, what I've noticed, you see, Marco, is that for you, it makes sense to study at INSEAD because it's a 1-year program. From that, it's exactly the contrary for the Italian students that I have, that they prefer a 2-year program. So they prefer HEC, they prefer ESSEC because it's a 2-year program. And at the same time, INSEAD is a bit expensive for a 1-year program because it's much cheaper than what you have. But still, it's 50,000 euros, which is for a master in management, quite expensive. You, of course, as a professional, prefer a 1-year program, and even though the program is still expensive, it's less than a US program. So of course, INSEAD is a good target, and INSEAD appreciate locally students. So you get 680, 700, it should work. But you need a pretty good score, and for INSEAD you need a balanced score. Alors basically, maybe I have to explain what the Gmat is about. For the attendance. So the Gmat is a test score between 200 and 800, in which you have 4 sections. And the sections that really matter are the verbal and the math section. So the MCQ is also an essay, and there are also like data interpretation questions that are also scored, but separately. Usually schools ask for a minimum of 650 when you apply for top masters, but it's so that MBA programs are more demanding. Okay. It's more difficult to get the INSEAD MBA than it is to get the INSEAD MIM, because you have more applicants. You have 4,000 applicants to INSEAD, when you have only 800 to the MIM. So the program is very tough. And Marco, he needs a good score, you see, but he needs also a balanced score. So having a good score is not enough. Okay, he will need to score, if you want, in the how can I explain, if you have not practiced on the Gmat, so you will need to have probably 20% of the question right on both sections, something like that. Okay, so they ask, not only do they ask for a good score, but they want a balanced score. Okay, usually what French students or Italian students have, their friend is usually the English part of the test. Okay. They do pretty well on math, but the English part may be a problem. Voilà. That's why also we always say to our students, apply to 2 schools. And there are 2 outstanding business schools in Europe, 2 outstanding MBAs. It's INSEAD and MBS. And now there is a third one that is picking up, but there are 2 good ones that are picking up. It's IAC, that is ranked, I think, number 5 or 5 in the last 80 ranking in the world. And there is HEC. So in the top 10 business schools, today you have 4 European ones. You have INSEAD, HEC, LBS, and IAC. Of course, usually Italian students, they don't really consider IAC because they believe, I don't know, they don't want to study in Spain. They don't consider HEC, even though you see, Marco, HEC now has a great program. They have developed a joint degree between HEC and Yale. So if you work with them, so you study for 2 years, year 1, you study at HEC and you get the MBA, and year 2, you get an MMA, so it's a Master in Management from Yale School of Management, okay? Which is not too bad. I have now students who study at HEC who get jobs at Bain, BCG, McKinsey, okay? Because it's pretty, it's not bad. So it could be a good backup, you see, Marco, okay? So that's something to consider, double degree, HEC, Yale.
Can I ask a question?
Marco, yeah, of course, go ahead. And then, of course, the others do not hesitate to ask questions. Go ahead, Marco.
Yeah, about the Gmat. Okay, quantitative and verbal are the main parts, but what about integrated reasoning and the essay writing? How much practice should I put in these skills? Are they going to be evaluated in a certain way? Or can I just dismiss them and focus on verbal and quantitative?
Yeah. Focus on the Gmat. So focus 99% of your time on the verbal and the math part. Spend 99% of your time. 1% should learn a template. So if you want, I will give you a template, Marco, to learn by heart and that you can reuse Okay. So it's like 3 hours of work. And for the integrated reasoning part, yes, but at the same time, it's not the most important. It doesn't really count. Okay. I've never seen any student rejected because of a low integrated reasoning score. Okay. Anyway, it's difficult to do very low because it's something that you practice daily, especially as a consultant. So it is mainly data interpretation. It's not super difficult. It's not super difficult. Huh? So basically, I would say 99% on the Gmat itself, because as you know, the score that you get on IR and AWA will be on the score report, but they are not part of the Gmat. So it's an additional information. Okay. So it does not really count. Don't ignore them. Okay. Spend 1% of your time, learn a template for the AWA. If you want, I can send you practice questions. Go online and look for you type data interpretation, because publishers have not developed much material on integrated reasoning, and it's more than enough. Especially more than enough in that data interpretation is something that you practice daily. If you want, I can for the students, if you want, I will show you what data interpretation what integrated reasoning is about. It's basically data interpretation.
Well, yeah, would be very helpful.
Of course, if you want, Maria will plan a meeting together anyway. Huh? Okay. Anyway, we have a program called Destination 800, so it could be very useful for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other question, Marco?
Yes, I'm sorry. I apologize for.
No, of course, it's good that you ask questions because the others are silent, and we're going to send you the contact information of Cesare. So Cesare, who told me at the last minute that he cannot attend. So Cesare, who is an MIM student at HEC. Huh? Okay, and HEC as an MIM is the best one in the world. Huh? Go ahead, Marco. What are the other questions that you have?
But given the fact that I'm specializing in the financial services industry, and from the MBA, I also would like to maybe switch and change the industry. Not maybe. One of my goals for MBA is maybe to switch and change the industry, particularly going for pharmaceutical and healthcare industry, if possible. Do you think that is the correct choice? A normal master would be better? Or is there any particular university or business school which can facilitate this transition?
Yes. So basically, what I've noticed is that an MBA, a 1-year MBA at INSEAD, it may not be the best program. Okay. That's why you see, Marco, we have so many of our students from Italy who prefer the SEMS program, or they prefer HEC or ESSEC or ESCP, because they know that they may need 2 years to make a career change. Okay, so yes, Marco, it's true that maybe if you want to make a complete career change, INSEAD may not be enough. Okay, so imagine that so the company that you're interested in after INSEAD may be other management consulting companies. By the way, you probably have interviews with them. There will be pharmaceutical companies, but they will offer you to work in their strategy department, something like that. Okay. If you really want to make a complete switch, okay, a 1-year program is not enough. And it is very simple. That when you start in SEAD, and same thing applies for the masters, is that you have the first 4 months of in SEAD, you start, let's say that you start in September, so you start in September, and you have the interviews in January, February. So it's only 4 months after. And then you finish in June. So it means that if you fail the interviews or whatever, it doesn't work. And second of all, you have to see that companies, finance companies or pharmaceutical companies, they know that after 4 months, you didn't change that much. Okay. So they will look for people who have already a background in this field. Okay. If you're new in the new field, they will say, look, you're in SEAD, they work for consulting. We know that as an associate, you have not specialized in anything. So you're not like a partner. For instance, me, I work with partners from McKinsey because I have students who want to do PhDs. Okay. So they are 50, 55, and they are like senior partners, equity partners. And we work on their PhD program. Okay. So in that case, they come with an expertise. But you as a junior associate, you don't have any expertise because you have done many things in the consulting company. So you need to, what can you do? So they will not favor you. Okay. The advantage of the 2-year program, for instance, if you go to HEC or if you go to LBS, is that you will have an internship. So it's okay. I spend, so after 4 months, you say, okay, I just want an internship, and already getting an internship in a different industry is difficult. Okay. And then they will say after 4 months, well, but we can give you a chance because it's just an internship. And then if the internship works well, they will give you an offer. Okay. So the reason why 2-year programs are better than 1-year programs if you want to make a career switch is because they allow you to get an internship. Okay. So now, and a long internship. So now what some of my students do who go to INSEAD, they do the internship after INSEAD. Okay. Of course, it's a paid internship. So they will study at INSEAD. They will do an internship for like 6 months. Okay. In the industry in which they want to work. And after that, they try to get a job. That's what people, tell me. But, you know, when we were based in Paris, I used to send something like 50 to 60 students per year to INSEAD. Now it's a different story, because we are more global. So we are less INSEAD focused than before. But when I talk to my students, we send about like 20, 30 per year still to INSEAD. They will tell me it's not the right school to make a career switch. A 1-year program is never good. So don't go, if you want to make a career switch, don't go to IE, don't go to IEC. Okay, go more to LBS, to HEC or study in the US. Okay. So I don't know how it works with the company, but, if they sponsor the GMBA, but 1-year programs are not the best programs for, complete career switch. And same thing applies for you students. If you don't know what to do, don't do the 1-year program at INSEAD, okay? Because it will not help you, okay? If you need time, if you need, go for a 2-year program, because if you study at HEC, the year 1, you have a job management degree, you can take a gap year, you can work for 1 year, you can come back and specialize. That's probably the best step. For instance, me, I have a son. We will start with JP Morgan in this July, and he went to ESCP, and it was made possible because between Master 1 and Master 2, he took a gap year, so he worked for 6 months for Rothschild as an M&A analyst, and then another 6 months in a private equity firm in the US. And of course, after this 1 year, it was quite easy for him to pass the job interview. Remember, he got his job in October of last year. So, and of course, that was made possible because he had a gap year. We had time to acclimate. So I would say if you, what I've noticed, for instance, is that in Italy, few students have internships because the problem that you have 2 problems. The problem that you have is that many failed their exam and they have to take the second session in September. So they don't have much time to do an internship, and usually they cancel. So it means that there's no tradition of internship. And so on, I don't know why, but Italian companies do not really like interns. Okay. In France, we love that. In the UK, yes. In Germany, so. But in your country, they don't like, probably because they have bad experiences, because they have hired interns who at the last minute cancel, like Cesare today, and who maybe have more important things to do, and to fail their exam. So that's not something that we should be careful of. Okay? Did I answer your question, Marco?
Yes.
So I know it's not a very good news what I told you, but
no.
If you want real career switch, INSEAD is not enough. Basically INSEAD is, I'll give you an example. I have 2 students, for instance, I have many more that are INSEAD, but I have 2 for whom I know that's going to have them. Okay, who have just been accepted. One is an engineer. He wants to go into consulting. So engineer, INSEAD, great step for consulting. And I have another one who is a lawyer, was working for private equity firms, and now he wants to make a switch as more like an investment manager. It makes sense because what he was doing is very close to what they want. Okay. Really, I don't know. Sometimes people, they fantasize about management consulting, but imagine that you work in supply chain for Louis Vuitton. and then you're going to be a supply chain expert for in management consulting, then your job is not very different, except that you paid twice as much as before. Okay? So you have to be careful. Is that usually after 1 year, it's difficult to make a career switch because companies, they have so many demands of people who are much more qualified than you in the field that they're looking for. They don't need to take a risk. You understand, Marco? Why would they take a risk when already for one position, they have 200 applicants?
Yes.
Okay?
I want to get that.
Now you can already say, you can take a risk because I will come as an intern. I will be paid little. If you like me, you send me a job offer. And then you say, okay, you can take a risk for a summer internship. You understand, Marco? For a summer internship, they will take risk. And even though in some companies, it's difficult to get summer internship. For instance, in banks, it's difficult to find investment banking and not retail, but in banks, it's difficult to get an internship. Very difficult. Already getting internship is a big achievement. Yeah, Marco?
Yes, I just want to point out that I like consulting and just would like to try and change in other industries because my actual company is like very focused in financial services.
Okay.
Therefore, I can consider switching and go to the clients in a different industry, but I also would like to stay in consulting, but change the industry. Would be still be considered a full career switch.
It's possible, yeah, maybe it's possible, yeah. And I know that in consulting, because I work a lot with McKinsey, in Milan, and I've noticed when I ask my students what they do, it's very different from what my McKinsey students do in Germany. For instance, in Germany, they will tell me I work for Siemens, Porsche, Volkswagen, so it's mainly industry based. So what we mean actually by consulting. And when I talk to my McKinsey student, they tell me it's a portfolio analysis, company evaluation. So of course it's different. Yeah, voilà. But what I want to say is that you're still young and you don't know exactly what you want to do. So basically, I will really consider the tour program in the US to say, I want to give myself more chance, more openings. Okay? Because now that's what you want to do, but you never know if in 6 months you will not want to do something else, and say, look, I'm stuck by this degree that does not offer me all I need. Yeah?
Yes.
So yeah, there are many. Gabriele, there's someone called. You have a question, Gabriele? Hello?
No, thanks.
So what is your background, Gabriele? Tell me about your background at least.
Okay, I'm a Bocconi student too, but I'm still at bachelor.
Okay.
Actually, usually bachelors, as you know, are 3 years in Italy, but I got accepted into a double degree with Peking University in China. So my 3-year bachelor became a 4-year bachelor.
Mm-hmm.
And so in September, I will start studying at Peking University in China. And so I will graduate in 2 years and was considering, I know it's still early, but maybe.
So, but you're right. Yeah, you're right. I have, by the way, you see, Emma, I have a student from ESSEC. Her name is Claire Contry, who is preparing the Gmat. She's going to start preparing the Gmat, and she's your age, Emma. So what I want to say is that you will finish your master's, your bachelor, in 2023?
Yes.
Yeah?
Actually, yeah.
So that basically it means that you have to send your application in October 2022.
Yeah.
So the latest I suggest that you start to work on your essays in January 2022. So in 7 months.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So it's not too early. And of course, you see Gabriele, like Marco, but you see, Marco, you see a real difference. You're Bocconi, but he went to China. So first, 1 year in China has more value than 6 months or 1 year at RSM. Okay. Because of course, in terms of international exposure, it's Asia. It's, I know that Italy is not the Netherlands, but the change is not that huge. Whereas for you, there's going to be a culture shock going to China. Of course, it's a different story. Okay. So what can you do now to improve your application? It's okay. What can I do now? So I'm going to try to have an internship this summer. If possible abroad and in a big name. So put big names, put Ernst & Young, put KPMG, put big names. Okay. So put Siemens, put whatever, not the company of your income. Okay. So put big names. So what can you put big names? We'll have good grades. When I'm in China, I will be member of many associations. Okay. Next summer, I will also try to have a very good internship. That's why I need to work on my Gmat now, so that I have next summer free to have an internship. So what can I do to improve? I have to do Gmat. I'm going to be a member of many associations, do volunteering. I have my China exchange program. I will also have great internship. I have to put great names. If you see, I'm going to be sarcastic, but if you have photocopy internship at Ernst & Young, is better than a business developer internship in the company of your uncle, even though I know that you learn more in your uncle's company. Okay. But names matter a lot. Huh?
Yeah. Okay.
You know, when they look at your resume, they will say, wow, Bocconi, Beijing University, okay, he has good grades, yeah, okay. Then where did he work? His name, Ernst & Young, KPMG, yeah, okay, very good. He was, okay, he's international. He was volunteering. He was the president of an association. Okay, very good profile. You understand, Gabriele?
Yeah, okay.
And you have to work on it now, okay? That's why we should even start. I was talking to Hugues, CMA, and that's something we should start even earlier, okay? You can start, say, after 18 years old, okay, I will apply for a master's in 2 to 3 years' time. What can I do in these 2 to 3 years' time to ensure acceptance to a top program? Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Of course, yeah. It starts early. Okay, it starts early. Me, for instance, I'll give you an example. Yeah, but I think I was a good student, but when I was high school, I was a sportsman, so my grades were terrible, and because of that, I had to do my school diploma twice. It was the first time I had bad grades, so I passed it. But I was an athlete, so I didn't study at all, so I had bad grades and I couldn't go anywhere. So I had to do it the second time. Okay, so of course, anyway, I was happy with my patient. I don't care, but I paid the hard price for it. Huh? You see? Okay, so if someone had told me the year before your school diploma, work hard because the grades are essential if you want to go to a good university, whatever. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I don't think I would have done it, but at least I would have known. Okay, and then finally I found out that anyway, my application was rubbish and no school would take me. So I had to go to Germany for 1 year in German school. It was not much fun. Okay. So of course it's a good thing. So you really improve your thing. Okay. Basically, you understand how they assess. The most important thing is the school you come from, your grades and your Gmat. That's I would say that 50% of your application. And same thing for you, Marco. Huh? Same thing for you. Okay. Except that Marco, you cannot change your grade at Bocconi. They can still improve their grades. Okay. Second thing that they will consider is probably the quality of your work experience. Okay. For instance, it's the same case, Marco, as you, but you also, Gabriele, you cannot say, I want to become, for instance, an M&A analyst in investment bank if you don't know what it is and if you have not worked at least a bit in it. Okay. For instance, you, Marco, typically, when you're going to write your application, you're going to say, look, I know that I want to do something else, but I'm going to tell you that I've been exposed to transaction services, okay, working for Ernst & Young, okay, and I know what it is, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, and your recommender is going to write, by the way, that your greatest achievement was this specific mission. Okay, you understand? So you have to build. So same thing for you, Gabriele. You want to say, I want to work in a bank as an M&A analyst. I want to be an investment banker. Then you have to work on your internship, and you have to have something that is in line with that. Okay, so second thing, okay, what about your work experience, and is it in line with what you want to do after the masters? Then third thing that they consider is your leadership, so volunteering activities. Have you volunteered? Have you done things? Have you contributed? I've noticed, Emma, that you work for one of the association of the school, from what I understand. And finally, What about your international exposure? Okay, basically, if you do it at an early stage, it works well. I will give you an example of a guy. He was for an MBA. Who came to see me when he was with his mother when he was 21 years old. By the way, he has an Italian name, but he's not Italian. He's from Monaco. So he was this guy. Okay, so let's go to LinkedIn. Okay, it was a guy called Frédéric Genta. Okay, so he has I think he's Swiss Italian, from what I remember. So Frédéric Genta, and you see, he went to a good school. Frédéric Genta. Okay. Came to see me when he was 21 years old. Okay, and he said, "Look, Hubert, I want to go." And you see, he studied at Harvard Business School. I'm sure that you have all heard of Harvard Business School, which is the best business school in the world so far. And he said, So he came to see me. I don't know. It was in probably 2002. Okay, can you imagine 2002 or 2002, 2003? And he told me he was a Gmat student already with us. He was in class at the SCP. He was following a master's. And he told me, what should I do to get Harvard? It was very simple. And then I told him that first, so have good grades, have good Gmat, okay? Try to have internships abroad. And what did he do? Look, he went to work for Orange, but in the UK. Okay, you see? Yeah. He went to work for Orange. So when I met him, he told me, okay, I'm going to switch to Orange. Okay. And then, so he had a good school, good grade, Orange, and he was also, involved in many, organizations. And strangely enough, he was already involved, in the Monaco government. Okay. Oh, and now he's a minister. Now he's a member of the Monaco government. You see? He was recommended by Prince Albert. I'm sure that you have heard of who he is. He's the prince. He's somehow the king of Monaco. He's not the king, because the king of Monaco, what people do not know, is the French president. He's just a prince. Long story. So yeah, it's a long story. And he's the prince, and he depends on Emmanuel Macron, who is his king. So basically when he arrived, he had the SCP, good grades, international exposure. He had already completed also a master in research, which is not bad. So the guy got, I don't know what's got like 740, probably a good score. I forgot. Test Gmat. What score did he get? It was a long time ago. He got 730. So you see, prepared him well. So he got 730 on his Gmat. So which is a good score, you agree? ESCP Europe, which is as a master top 3, top 5 in Europe. International exposure because he worked for Orange. And of course, I told him, be involved in the Monaco government, do something. Okay. So he was somehow involved. I don't know what he did. I forgot. And he got a letter from Prince Albert. Okay. So, but of course, when you have a letter from Prince Albert, because during your free time, you help the Monaco government. When you have worked for Orange, you know what it is. So it's a big telecom company. In the UK, when you have ESCP and a 730 on the Gmat, you get a top school. You understand? And Frédéric, he got Harvard Business School. And now he's a member of the government of Monaco. You see how it works? You got it, Marco? So, same thing for you, Emma. So he came to see me at an early stage. He came to see me, I don't know, 3 years before applying. 2 years. Okay? Because he knew that you have to make connections. For instance, like 2 years ago, I had a girl who got accepted 4 years ago to Harvard as well. And, she was working as a volunteer for the Francophonie organization. And, she had a letter from Abdou Diouf. So you don't know who Abdou Diouf is, probably. He was the former president of Senegal. And, believe me, if you're a Muslim woman, from Senegal, she had good studies, she had a 740 on the Gmat, and a letter from the former president of your country, she got Harvard, in terms. So you understand? So basically, the success is prepared long before. It's prepared long before. Okay? So any questions? I don't know, there's Isham. Yes, Isham is with us. Anushka, etc. Thank you very much. Gabriele, you have a question, Gabriele? You didn't ask any question.
No, actually, I was thinking, when should I take the Gmat if I want to apply for September 2023 programs?
So I would say that the latest you can take it is let's say June. Since you have time. So if you want to start in 2023, it means you're going to send your application in October 2022. So yes, try to take it at the latest in June 2022. Okay. So it means you start to prepare something as for the other students. You start to prepare this in 7-8 months time from now. Okay. And what you can do meanwhile to improve your application, that's something good grades, an internship this year and next year, if possible abroad in a top company, be a member of many volunteering associations, blah, 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 what I told you. Okay. But don't forget, because you see, it's the difference between applying, in a school where you have a contest, and that's what you have, for instance, at Bocconi. Okay. At Bocconi, you have a contest after high school to get in. You can say, okay, I start to work 6 months before, and applying to a school where you have an application. Okay. So when you have an application, they will consider what you have done in the last 2-3 years. Okay. That's something that you have to start to work in now. You cannot say the day before applying, oh, I'm going to show that I'm a leader. What will you do? What will you do the day before? You have to do that 2-3 years before. Okay. You have to be a president of an organization, launch things, develop things. If you want to have a top guy who's going to recommend you, but you have to work with him. Okay. For instance, sometimes I have some of my students who are, you imagine, we have people who are famous in at the center sometimes. True, but you have. They tell me, oh, the last president, before the last president, Mr. Sarkozy could recommend me because he's a good friend of my father. And I know, because these people are famous, that I know that they are friends. Okay. You read it in the newspaper. But I say, but what is your relationship with him? No relationship. But what I want to say is that could perfectly work. I don't know, person a good example, but let's say Berlusconi, okay, by being a member of an organization that he has. Imagine that Berlusconi as an association where he promotes education for poor kids, and you run the Milan office of this organization. Berlusconi could recommend you. If it's a good example. Sorry, but we don't know. We don't know many, Mr. Conte, for instance. Imagine that Mr. Conte, for instance, have students who are into politics even at a low level, but they're already in contact with top decision makers, and they can be recommended by them, because if you represent the youth movement of Mr. Paolo Conte, party, and you are somehow in contact with him, can recommend you, because there would be a reason why he would recommend you. You see? So that's what we have. So as a summary, what can I say? So we know the admission process is a long process. Okay. The sooner you start it, the better. Since you apply through an application and not through a contest, you have to have an application that is strong. To make an application strong, you have to work years before. Okay. Well, that's the thing. The Gmat, of course, is key, but not just the Gmat, but of course the Gmat is key. Of course, I never had a student who with a 750 who didn't get a good master. For MBA, it's different, okay? But if you get, for instance, I had a student this year, she was not a really friendly person, but she got 720. She had not achieved much in life, but 720, she got Saint-Gallen, LBS, INSEAD. She got all the schools she applied to, because 720 in a master program, not in an MBA, but in a master program, is a super high score. You see? So of course the Gmat is key. So you have to consider many things, but Gmat is key. You can improve your application long time before you apply. Be careful, 2-year versus 1-year program. Okay. I will strongly suggest 2-year program. Okay. Now someone like Emma, since you have a general management degree, with your BBA, I will strongly suggest that you go for a specialized master. It will make more sense. Finance and data science. Because to do another MIM, I don't know if it makes much sense. And use your summer, this summer, the summer before, next summer, to work abroad and in big names, because basically, recruiters are impressed, by big names. Okay. Or at least names that they know. Because sometimes people work for big companies, but they are not very famous abroad, but they like big brands. Okay. Ernst & Young, Goldman Sachs, whatever, Google, we have all type of things. It's perfect. It's fine. So sorry, so you can contact Cesare Campizzi. He will reply to you. We'll send you an email, and we'll give you his information. And then if you want to talk to him, you can always talk to him. Marco, you could work with him, because especially Cesare studied, worked for 6 months at, McKinsey. That's why I met him, by the way. So he could exchange with you, except that he's a bit younger than you and he's not applying for an MBA, but he knows about the MBA. He's knowledgeable. Emma, did I answer all the questions? Yeah?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Gabriel, etc. So thank you, everybody. And I look forward to working with you. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Marco.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, Gabriel. Bye-bye.